Hello, and welcome back to the Sleep Lab. Tonight we're not traveling anywhere at all, not into space, not into the ocean, not even into history. Tonight we're staying exactly where you already are, gently exploring the quiet, tireless, endlessly strange machine currently keeping you warm, breathing, and slowly drifting towards sleep, your own body. Most of us spend an entire lifetime inside this same body without ever pausing to learn what it's actually, constantly doing behind the scenes, the quiet chemistry, the small miracles of engineering, the strange little facts tucked away in every organ, bone, and cell. Tonight we're going to move through 100 small, gentle facts about the body you've been carrying around your whole life, one detail after another, offered slowly enough to let each one settle before the next quietly arrives. Nothing tonight needs to be remembered. Your body will keep doing all of it either way, whether you're paying attention or not. If this kind of journey is worth your time, a like, a subscribe, or a thought left below helps this small lab keep its lights on for other sleepy minds finding their way here. But for now, there is nothing you need to do except settle in, let your body grow heavy, and let 100 small truths about yourself drift gently over you instead. Let's begin. 1. Your body contains roughly 37 trillion cells, each one carrying out its own small, specific job, together forming the single, unified organism currently reading, or rather, listening to, these words. 2. The human body produces about 25 million new cells every single second, a quiet, constant process of renewal happening entirely without your awareness or effort. 3. Your heart beats roughly 100,000 times a day, pumping blood through a circulatory system long enough, if laid end to end, to circle the earth more than twice. 4. Blood makes a complete round trip through your entire body in about 60 seconds, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every living cell along the way. 5. Your skin is the largest organ in the human body, and an adult's skin covers roughly 20 square feet, weighing more than any other single organ you carry. 6. Your body sheds around 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells every single hour, meaning you get an almost entirely new outer layer of skin approximately every month. 7. Much of household dust is actually made up of shed human skin cells, a small, quiet reminder of just how constantly your body renews itself. 8. The human stomach produces a fresh lining every 3 to 4 days, since the acid it produces to digest food is strong enough that it would otherwise slowly digest the stomach itself. 9. Stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve certain metals over time, and yet your stomach lining protects itself continuously through this same rapid, ongoing regeneration. 10. Your liver is the only internal organ capable of regenerating significant portions of itself, and it can regrow to nearly its original size even after losing as much as 70% of its tissue. 11. The human body contains about 60,000 miles of blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillaries combined, a network long enough to circle the entire Earth more than twice over. 12. Your bones are, pound for pound, genuinely stronger than steel, able to withstand considerably more pressure relative to their own weight than the metal beams used in modern construction. 13. Despite this strength, bones are also remarkably lightweight, making up only about 15% of your total body weight. 14. Adults have 206 bones, though babies are born with around 270, many of which gradually fuse together during childhood as the skeleton matures. 15. The femur, the bone running from hip to knee, is the longest and strongest bone in the human body, capable of supporting many times a person's own body weight. 16. The smallest bone in the human body, the stapes, is located deep inside the ear and is smaller than a single grain of rice. 17. Your ears and nose never actually stop growing throughout your entire life, though the rate of growth slows down considerably, becoming barely noticeable after early adulthood. 18. Fingernails grow faster than toenails, and the nail on your middle finger typically grows the fastest of all 10 fingers. 19. It would take roughly 6 months for a fingernail to grow back completely from base to tip if removed entirely, a slow, steady process happening quietly in the background of daily life. 20. Your body produces about 1 liter of saliva every single day, essential for digestion, protecting tooth enamel, and simply keeping your mouth comfortably moist. 21. Tooth enamel is the hardest substance in the entire human body, even harder than bone, specifically built to withstand a lifetime of biting, chewing, and grinding. 22. Despite its remarkable hardness, enamel cannot regenerate once damaged, since it contains no living cells capable of the kind of repair found elsewhere throughout the body. 23. Your sense of taste relies on roughly 10,000 taste buds, though this number naturally declines somewhat with age, part of why food can taste different later in life than it did in childhood. 24. The human tongue is made up of 8 distinct muscles, an intricate, flexible structure allowing for the remarkably wide range of movement needed for speech, taste, and swallowing. 25. Your body's smallest muscle, the stapedius, is located in the ear and helps protect it from loud sounds by subtly dampening the vibration of tiny bones involved in hearing. 26. Your body's largest muscle is the gluteus maximus, essential for maintaining upright posture and powering movements like walking, running, and climbing stairs. 27. Muscles make up roughly 40% of total body weight in most adults, quietly powering nearly every deliberate movement you make throughout an ordinary day. 28. It takes more muscles to frown than to smile, a small, popular claim that, while its exact numbers vary across studies, reflects a genuine, broader truth about the complexity of facial muscle movement. 29. Your face alone contains more than 40 individual muscles, allowing for an extraordinarily wide, subtle range of expression far beyond what most other parts of the body can achieve. 30. We've reached the first third of tonight's list. Somewhere inside your own body right now, muscles you've never consciously thought about are quietly, steadily doing their work. 31. The human lungs contain roughly 300 million tiny air sacs called alveoli, and if flattened out completely, their combined surface area would cover roughly half a tennis court. 32. You breathe in and out roughly 20,000 times a day, a rhythm so constant and automatic that most people never consciously notice it at all. 33. Your right lung is slightly larger than your left, simply because the heart takes up a bit of extra space on the left side of the chest. 34. The human body cannot sneeze while fully asleep, since the nerve reflex responsible for sneezing is temporarily suppressed during deep, genuine sleep. 35. A sneeze can travel out of your body at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, expelling thousands of tiny droplets in the process. 36. Your body produces roughly 1 to 1.5 liters of mucus every single day, a constant, quiet defense mechanism helping trap dust, bacteria, and other unwanted particles before they reach your lungs. 37. Human hair, aside from a few specific areas, is remarkably strong, and a single strand can support a surprising amount of weight before finally breaking. 38. The average adult scalp contains roughly 100,000 individual hairs, though the exact number varies considerably depending on natural hair color, with blondes typically having the highest count. 39. Hair grows at an average rate of about half an inch per month, though this rate can vary depending on genetics, age, and overall health. 40. Each individual hair follicle has its own tiny, attached muscle, responsible for the small bumps commonly known as goosebumps when triggered by cold or strong emotion. 41. Goosebumps are actually a leftover evolutionary reflex, once useful for making our distant, hairier ancestors appear larger or for trapping a thicker layer of warming air close to the skin. 42. Your body temperature naturally fluctuates throughout the day, typically reaching its lowest point in the early morning hours and its highest point in the late afternoon or early evening. 43. The human body is remarkably efficient at regulating its own temperature, and sweating alone can cool the body enough to prevent dangerous overheating even during intense physical activity. 44. An adult body contains roughly 2 to 4 million sweat glands, distributed unevenly across the skin, with the highest concentration found on the palms and soles of the feet. 45. Sweat itself is almost entirely odorless, and the smell commonly associated with sweating actually comes from bacteria on the skin interacting with sweat, rather than the sweat itself. 46. Your eyes can distinguish an estimated 10 million different colors, an extraordinary range made possible by specialized cells called cones located within the retina. 47. The human eye blinks roughly 15 to 20 times every minute, and each individual blink lasts only about a tenth of a second, adding up to several minutes of total darkness each day. 48. Despite this frequent blinking, your brain smooths over each brief interruption so seamlessly that you rarely, if ever, consciously notice your own vision going dark. 49. Your eyes are able to focus on nearly 50 different objects every single second, a remarkable, largely unconscious feat of rapid visual processing happening constantly throughout your waking day. 50. We've reached the halfway point of tonight's list. Somewhere behind your own closed eyes right now, countless quiet processes continue steadily, whether you notice them or not. 51. Human eyes remain essentially the same size from birth throughout life, while the nose and ears continue slowly growing, part of why proportions of the face gradually shift with age. 52. Your body produces tears not only in response to emotion, but continuously throughout the day in smaller amounts, keeping the surface of the eyes properly lubricated and protected. 53. Emotional tears actually contain a slightly different chemical composition than the tears produced simply to keep your eyes moist, including higher levels of certain stress-related hormones. 54. The human nose can distinguish an estimated 1 trillion distinct scents, a considerably larger range than researchers once assumed possible for human smell. 55. Smell is closely tied to taste, and much of what we perceive as flavor while eating actually comes from aroma detected through the nose rather than taste buds alone. 56. This connection is part of why food often tastes noticeably bland when your nose is blocked by a cold, since so much of ordinary flavor perception depends on smell working properly alongside taste. 57. Your kidneys filter roughly 50 gallons of blood every single day, carefully removing waste products while returning essential nutrients and fluids back into circulation. 58. Despite processing such an enormous volume of blood daily, a healthy person can actually live a full, ordinary life with only one functioning kidney. 59. The human small intestine, if fully stretched out, measures roughly 20 feet long, coiled tightly within the abdomen to fit inside a comparatively small amount of available space. 60. Your digestive system contains trillions of bacteria, collectively called the gut microbiome, playing an essential, actively studied role in digestion, immunity, and even mood regulation. 61. The number of bacterial cells living within and on your body is roughly comparable to the number of your own human cells, a genuinely humbling reminder of how much of you is quietly shared with other organisms. 62. Your appendix, once dismissed as an entirely useless evolutionary leftover, is now believed by some researchers to serve a genuine, if modest, role in supporting healthy gut bacteria. 63. The human body contains enough iron, on average, to make a small nail, a strange but genuinely accurate way of describing the trace minerals quietly present within your own blood and tissue. 64. Your bones contain enough calcium and phosphorus, combined, to make dozens of matchsticks, another small, strange illustration of the basic elements quietly making up your own physical structure. 65. The human body is roughly 60% water, meaning the majority of what makes up you is, quite literally, the very same substance filling oceans, rivers, and rain. 66. Your brain alone is estimated to be roughly 73% water, part of why even mild dehydration can genuinely affect concentration, mood, and mental clarity. 67. Blood makes up about 7 to 8% of total body weight, and an average adult carries roughly 1 to 1.5 gallons of it circulating continuously throughout the body. 68. Red blood cells live for about 120 days before being replaced, meaning your blood is, in a very real sense, quietly, continuously renewing itself throughout your entire life. 69. Your body produces roughly 2 million new red blood cells every single second, an extraordinary, ceaseless rate of production happening deep within your bone marrow. 70. Bone marrow, found within the hollow centers of many bones, is responsible not only for red blood cells but for producing white blood cells and platelets essential to immune defense and healing. 71. Your immune system can recognize and remember an almost limitless number of different threats, building lasting protection after exposure to specific viruses, bacteria, or other invaders. 72. Fever, often uncomfortable, is actually a deliberate immune response, since a slightly elevated body temperature can help slow the reproduction of certain harmful bacteria and viruses. 73. Your body's white blood cells travel throughout the bloodstream constantly, patrolling for threats and coordinating a remarkably sophisticated, largely invisible defense system running every moment of every day. 74. Human skin contains specialized cells that begin producing more pigment when exposed to sunlight, the biological basis behind tanning, a protective response to ultraviolet radiation exposure. 75. Fingerprints are entirely unique to each individual, formed partly by genetics and partly by random pressure and movement while still developing inside the womb, meaning even identical twins have different fingerprints. 76. The pattern on the roof of your mouth, sometimes called your palate print, is also believed to be entirely unique to each individual, much like a fingerprint. 77. Your tongue print, similarly, is considered unique to each person, one of several lesser-known identifying features quietly present within the human body. 78. The human body contains enough DNA, if fully unwound from every single cell and connected end to end, to stretch to the sun and back more than 60 times over. 79. Despite this staggering total length, every strand of your DNA fits neatly inside the nucleus of a cell smaller than the width of a single human hair. 80. Your body's nervous system can transmit signals at speeds of up to 268 miles per hour, among the fastest signal transmission found anywhere in the natural world. 81. The human spinal cord, despite carrying such extraordinarily fast signals, is only about as wide as an average adult's thumb. 82. Your body contains roughly 7 octillion atoms, a number so large it becomes genuinely difficult for the human mind to properly, meaningfully grasp. 83. Nearly every atom currently making up your body was originally forged inside the heart of a star long before our solar system ever existed, a fact discussed in greater depth during an earlier Sleep Lab episode. 84. Your body constantly, quietly replaces itself at the atomic level, meaning very few of the atoms making up your body today were part of you even a decade ago. 85. Human bones are constantly remodeling throughout life, breaking down old tissue and building new tissue in a continuous, careful process that keeps the skeleton strong and properly maintained. 86. Your entire skeleton is believed to fully replace itself roughly once every 10 years, meaning the bones supporting you today are, in a genuine sense, considerably younger than you might assume. 87. The human body produces roughly 1.5 to 2 liters of urine per day under normal, healthy conditions, an essential part of removing waste and maintaining proper fluid balance. 88. Your body's largest internal organ, the liver, performs more than 500 distinct functions, including filtering toxins, producing essential proteins, and helping regulate blood sugar. 89. The human pancreas produces both digestive enzymes and essential hormones, including insulin, quietly balancing 2 entirely different biological roles within a single, modestly sized organ. 90. Your body's endocrine system, a network of hormone-producing glands, regulates everything from growth and metabolism to mood and sleep, communicating through chemical messengers carried in the bloodstream. 91. Human height typically decreases very slightly throughout the day, since the soft cartilage discs between spinal vertebrae gradually compress under the pressure of standing and moving. 92. This means you are technically, measurably slightly taller first thing in the morning than you are by the end of the day, once your spine has had a full night to gently decompress. 93. Your body's left and right sides are not perfectly symmetrical, and most people have one foot slightly larger than the other, along with subtle asymmetries throughout much of the rest of the body. 94. The human body can survive for several weeks without food under most circumstances, but only a matter of days without water, reflecting just how essential proper hydration genuinely is. 95. Your body can survive without oxygen for only a few minutes before serious harm begins, a stark reminder of how constantly, urgently your lungs and heart work together every moment. 96. Every single heartbeat you will ever have across your entire life is generated by a small, specialized cluster of cells within the heart itself, called the sinoatrial node, functioning as your body's own natural pacemaker. 97. Your body has been quietly, continuously performing all of tonight's 100 small facts simultaneously, this entire time, without ever once asking for your attention or your thanks. 98. Every breath, every heartbeat, every quiet renewal of skin, blood, and bone happening inside you tonight will continue exactly the same way while you finally, gently drift off to sleep. 99. Nothing about tonight's list requires any effort from you at all, since your body has been doing this remarkable, hidden work since long before you ever learned a single fact about it. 100. And perhaps the strangest, gentlest truth of all is simply this, that the quiet, extraordinary machine keeping you alive tonight has never once needed your permission, only your rest. We have reached the end of tonight's 100 small truths about the body you've carried your entire life without ever fully pausing to notice. We touched cells renewing by the millions each second and a liver capable of quietly regrowing itself, bones stronger than steel and a heart that has never once stopped since before you were born. We remembered atoms once forged inside distant, long-dead stars, and a skeleton that fully replaces itself roughly once every decade, all happening constantly, invisibly, beneath everything else you've ever thought or felt. There is something gently worth carrying from a list built entirely around something as close as your own skin, a reminder that you have never once been alone in this, since an entire quiet, tireless machine has been working steadily on your behalf every single moment of your life. If tonight's 100 small truths were worth your time, a like, a subscribe, or a thought left below helps the Sleep Lab stay open for the next curious, sleepy mind who finds their way here. And if you're still awake, there's another story waiting just beyond this one, whenever you're ready for it. But for now, let your own remarkable body do what it already knows how to do best, breathing slowly, settling gently, and carrying you quietly toward rest. Let your body grow heavy. Let your breathing slow. Sleep well. And good night.